Особенность нашей дипломатии заключается в том, что
The distinctive feature of Russian diplomacy is that our priorities and objectives are never a secret. President Putin and other officials openly speak about them. What remains confidential are the methods of achieving these objectives. That is natural, because diplomacy thrives in silence. If you truly want to reach an agreement, you need discretion. But if your aim is just to score some propaganda points and show off on a kind of diplomatic stage, that is another matter, though it should not be called diplomacy. Diplomacy is the art of reaching agreements. I've said many times before that diplomacy is in fact one of the oldest professions, because everything else requires prior agreement. And that is why discretion is essential. Our goals are straightforward. We want equal and respectful cooperation with all countries, including the United States. And they have shown a similar interest. Let me tell you, when we met this February in Saudi Arabia, Yuri Ushakov and I sat down at the Americans' initiative with Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, and then National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, who has since moved on to another role. It was a two-on-two meeting. The Americans, as initiators, began with Rubio saying, "I want to reaffirm that President Trump's foreign policy is based not on ideology, but on pragmatism and the national interests of the United States. And we, in the Trump administration, recognize that every country has national interests, especially great powers like the Russian Federation. We are interested in maximizing mutual benefit whenever our national interests overlap. Of course, we understand they will not coincide in every case. On the contrary, in most cases, they will diverge, because major powers inevitably clash in some of their interests. But," Rubio concluded, "when our national interests do not align and instead contradict one another, our top priority must be to prevent these differences from escalating into confrontation." I responded that this 100% coincides with our own position, and it is in this very context that our interests converge, something the President also emphasized recently at the Eastern Economic Forum in Vladivostok. There are promising opportunities, including in the economy, such as LNG production, even in Alaska, and much more. The Arctic as a whole offers a vast field for cooperation, as does outer space, among other areas. Therefore, honest and open discussion of each other's positions, identifying points of convergence and turning them into practical cooperation, and at the same time preventing disagreements from escalating into confrontation, let alone a hot one. This, I would say, is our core principle.